Well, today we got something a little bit different. This is an old vac form kit of the Proteus from Fantastic Voyage. Vac form kits are a little bit different to a normal model kit. You right? You happy? Yep. Don't want to be on camera. She's purring now. She's a happy cat. Yeah, so I thought we'd have a look, and this will be a long-term project for me as far as doing it, because I want to build a full interior for this, or at least as full as I can get into this little model. It's meant to be about 1/60th scale. So let's have a look at what we get. I'll use any other bits. Okay, pop that down. So, vac form means that basically it's a sheet of styrene plastic, and it's either draped over a mould or pulled into a mould, depending on whether the mould's male or female, and then there's a vacuum underneath and it sucks the softened melted plastic either into it or over it, and that gives you a nice way of making plastic shapes. Now, you know, when I was growing up doing modelling, sort of in the late 70s, early 80s, if you wanted to do home produced kits, this was the only way you could do it. Resin wasn't really available. Certainly making molds for resin wasn't cost effective, so a lot of people did kits like this. Lunar Models did them. Comet Miniatures used to do all theirs in vac form because it's quite cheap to do. You just need a plug or a mold, something that heats it, and a vacuum source. So this one, you get the top hull, some quite nice detail on, not as detailed as a plastic kit, but it's quite nice, and then the bottom hull. And these were done that way around, so they were sucked into a mold, and the reason you can know that is that if you look on the side that wasn't touching the mold, the detail's soft, so you see it's all rounded, there's no sharp angles. But if you look on the other side, you got nice crisp, see that crisp lines, and that means it was sucked into a female mold, which is the best way of doing kits, but it's more expensive because obviously you've got to make a mold. So you get the sheet, you get the window glass, which is aged a bit, it's gone a bit yellow, but I think that'll be quite nice because it's like a tinted window. You get the dome that the pilot sat in that goes on top of the ship. You get a separate sheet of all the control vanes, etc., some little detailed parts. The thing with plastic card kits like this is you've got to put a bit of effort into them, and they're a bit different to make up, and you've got to sort of make scratch built detail. So what I want to do is make an interior. You do get an instruction sheet. As you can see, it's actually typed out and then photocopied. Very, very basic instructions, but you can see there's all the parts going together. And this is from a company called Deluxe Vacuum Form. Should there be 2 U's in it? I don't know. Over all length, 8.5 inches. Detail parts, clear dome and windows. Yeah, you've forgotten the spaces there. Rear center rudder, center spelt wrong. Suggests it's possibly an American kit. If anyone knows about these kits, let me know, because you can see, like on the model, it had hatch wheels and things, so we'll have to make them. Like it says, basically, we've molded in white, so you don't need to paint it. Yeah. It recommends a book. Yeah, this is definitely an American kit, I think. Anything on the inside? No, nothing on there. So yeah, so I think we're going to have fun on this one. Like I say, it's going to be long term because I want to build an interior, and we'll see how we get on. Okay, so I'm going to be cutting out some stuff on the Prometheus. Vac form kits, you cut out and process slightly differently. So what you do is you cut round the object, or score around the object, break it off, and then you sand it to get a flat edge. Make sure you got a nice new scalpel blade. And then what we're going to do, cut hairs all over. So let's cut out this first part. So what I'm going to do is score around it. So I want to sort of detach it, and all you do is flex the plastic. See how easy that was? And then I'm going to show you one bit, and then we can do the rest. So you score around the part as close as you can get. Some people use pens to draw around these, because then when you're sanding you can tell whether you've removed the right amount of plastic. So you score around it like that. All you do is flex the part out. There you go. And you see you've got the part cut out, but you couldn't glue that to anything because look how rough that surface is. So what you want to do then is get yourself some sandpaper. And this is 180, probably do with some finer stuff. And then all you're doing is sanding it flat. You will end up losing your nails. What some people do is put a bit of tape on it just so you can hold it. The bigger bits are easier than the smaller bits. Now all you're doing is sanding it, and you sand it until you get a completely flat layer there. That's what I mean. Some people draw around it so they know they've not done it off, and then that gives you a perfectly flat part that you can glue to. Let's do another bit. And then that gets sanded down, and don't lose any bits, and keep all the spare plastic out, because what you can do is make tabs when you're gluing other parts together. You can make tabs to aid with the gluing, and then that just happens for all the parts. And then this is going to be slightly more complicated because I want to build an interior, so I'm trying to decide whether to make the top of the roof removable or not, but we'll have a go. Okay, well, I've got a bit further, so I cut out all the parts. I cut the grills at the front and then back them with some plastic card rather than leave them as just recessed panels. I cut out the porthole vent things. I cut the windows out, sanded them, cut the hole there, and then I'm building an interior, so it won't be that visible inside, but I just thought I'd build that, put some figures on it, all made out of scrap plasticard, and then obviously that will sit over there like that, and you'll be able to look in and see bits of it. So it's coming along. When I've built up the interior, so it's not an exact replica, but you won't see much of it through the windows. So I just used some greeblies and some plasticard to make it up, some old parts. So I'm going to paint that various shades of light grey, and I think light green for the floor. I'll have to make some crew figures. I've cut the top off because I decided that I wanted a way to see the interior. I've added some various detail parts. I need to drill this out. This is where the snorkel goes, so I need to do that. And I've added a desk front just to cover up some bits. So it's coming on well. I'm really enjoying making this kit. It's old school. This is how I used to do all my modelling, so it's bringing back some memories. Yeah, so I'm really pleased with it at the moment. We'll see how it comes out. Okay, so I've scratch built the interior, and I've added some figures into it, doing various things. I put them at the front because you wouldn't see them there at the back. And you got a little chart showing the body, etc. So I quite like the interior. You're not going to see a lot of it, to be honest, but I'm happy that it's there. Little Donald Pleasance at the front, looking a bit psycho. Okay, so let's take this top off. I've glued the interior in, as you can see, shaky. I found an old base off a Dalek model kit, so I'm going to use that as a base because it was like on a hexagon base in the place. So I've made a couple of stand parts, and these will just fit on there like that. So that will stand it up, and then the next step is to glue the hull on. I've added the grills, but I'm not sure about, I might touch them up there a little bit messy, but that'll be the next step. Okay, so I've sprayed it with just Humbrol white. I undercoated it in grey primer first, did all to stand, so we can take the masking off, see how that's gone, then we can paint some of the details like the safe to step panels, some panel lines. It doesn't need to be weathered at all because this was a brand new submarine, so let's give that a go. Well, she's finished, other than I would like to try and put the naval description of the ship on the side like the full-size one had, but I think this kit's come out pretty good, considering it was a 40 plus it would have been about 81 this kit came out, so 40 odd years, yeah. Almost a 40-year-old lump of plastic vac form, and I think it's came out pretty well. I've done a lot of modifications to it, really, but let's have a look at it. So I love the design of the Proteus. It's such a realistic design. So basically, yeah, I put the hexagonal base on. Let me lift this off so you can see I've done a stand, which is sort of how they did it in the film. I know it's got legs that come out, so look underneath. So you got the escape hatch, the legs that are meant to come out. I didn't do it because I think it looks a bit silly, really. So you got the control vanes at the back. Got the bottom rudder's been put on. You got all the step panels, handholds. You got the hatch at the top that Donald Pleasance tried to get out of. He went a bit loopy. I've made an air hose snorkel to go on the back because that was a bit missing. You got the dome for the commander, the windows, and you can sort of see in. I quite like the fact that the clear plastic has gone yellow. It's sort of, it works. And then I've also made it that the top comes off like that. So as you can see, I put 2 catches and it just hooks under at the back. I put a panel line in, hooks under, and then you got the pilot and all the excitement happening in the ship. Stephen Boyd having a point, Donald Pleasance doing some sort of weird chicken dance, Raquel, maps and stuff. It could be a bit more detailed, the interior, and it's not 100% accurate by a long shot, but it was a quick plastic card build. I think it's come out really well. I'm so glad I got it. Look, there's one on eBay at the moment, the same kit but missing the clear plastic, and it's going for 120 quid. So I think to pick this one up for 20 was pretty good going. I'm going to keep a lookout for other vac form kits because I so enjoyed this. It was like old school, proper modelling. I thoroughly enjoy vac forms. I know a lot of people hate them, but yeah, I love this. So thank you, Proteus. Ironically, it's a miniature model of the Proteus, if that's possible, because at some point the ship was this exact size. So it's a 1-to-1 scale model. I like that. Nice one. Thanks a lot. I'll see you again in the next video. Please like and subscribe. About 80% of my viewers don't subscribe, so if you could subscribe, that would be really great. Help the channel out. And thanks a lot. Bye. Just as a quick PS, I found out my old Aurora model, or ex-Aurora model, of the animated Fantastic Voyage version of Proteus. They called it the Voyager. Lovely. Yeah. It's a very simplistic model. In fact, the canopy broke off, but you get a set of crew figures, and they kept the dome design, but otherwise a totally inferior design. Thanks. Bye.